your whole life, your senses are being dulled from the moment you come out of the womb, then psychedelics bring it back for you. Not just connection to yourself, but others and the earth. So many people say, oh, it was like 10 years of therapy in one session, one journey. I am always advocating for plant medicines and psychedelics, and then it seems that everything else just kind of falls in line. You realize what you need to be putting in, on, and around your body so that I can be the best version of myself. It'll be a better world. We'll live in a better universe.
Welcome to today's episode of Universal Intimacy, the podcast where we explore the intersection of science, spirituality, and sexuality. I am thrilled today to have a guest who fuses all of those fields exquisitely, Lana Shay, founder of The Pure Way. Lana is a holistic advocate, a tantric practitioner, and a psychonaut, exploring the fields of psychedelics and wellness. She guides clients and practitioners on how to live in unison with this earth and plants, and how to live freely, fully, and fiercely. She earned her BA at the California Institute of Integral Studies, the founder of the first ever academic certification of psychedelic-assisted therapies. She's here today to really focus on these topics of psychedelics and how they can help humans on their healing journeys, in their relationships, and also just living more connected to source. She also, as a tantric practitioner, is consciously celebrated throughout the community of how she fuses the erotic arts with conscious living. And we're excited to hear from her today about her book, which is a memoir that focuses on the erotic hustle, the fusion of sin, sexuality, and psychedelics. Lana, I'm so excited to have you here.
I'm excited to be here. What an intro.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm impressed.
I love you.
Love you.
Well, usually I love to create context in how we met, and I want to share something. I think I shared with you how I originally discovered you was actually on Instagram, in following Nadine Lee, and then ultimately you through the work that you did with her in Costa Rica with feminine embodiment. And so, yeah, I know that embodiment is a huge part of your practice as well, of what it means to live holistically. And I know today we're here to talk a lot about health and wellness and the ways that we eat and consume things connected to source. But I also just wanted to honor the embodiment piece of your practice as well, and that you really inspired me in my own journey. You know, I had a desire to study with you.
I want to hear more about that.
Yeah, I had a desire to study with you. You know, there was this deep awareness that you were authentic in this expression of feminine embodiment, that you weren't doing it as this facade or show or trying to gain viewership, that you were actually a living transmission of what I know to be Shakti and divine feminine beauty and sensuality. So thank you for being that and inspiring so many of us on the path.
Thank you. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that you got that through, not even meeting, just through a screen, through social media. I guess there was probably some speaking at some point, but yeah, that someone can receive that energy and that transmission without actually having to interface physically. That actually blows my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's important to presence, not just to showcase that there is power in social media to feel into authenticity, because I think often we're shown the opposite, you know, of people
absolutely.
just posing. But I think there's also like some of the shared kinship that we have and the fusion of these fields of food and wellness and our connection to source. Like when you know that to be true about yourself, you gravitate towards, or you're magnetized towards others who embody that.
Absolutely. Yeah, we were saying it just a moment ago, and it's too bad it wasn't captured, but we're here in the moment now and going into this idea of these really broad but important topics of sex and food and health and what comes of practicing this and practicing it with intention and consuming the right food or consuming high quality and like having real connected love making.
Yeah.
And all of these things that are intertwined and coming from this foundation and the background of being Italian. And I said, oh yeah, we're Italian and we love food and we love sex. And then you said beauty. And I said that beauty comes from the good food and the good sex.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it's so true. And it's coming from that connection to the erotic, right? To Eros, to this realization of like, we're all just creativity spiraling and swirling, and this connection that we have to source, to Mother Earth, to creativity. It's all kind of one and the same. And some of us see it and feel it, and maybe some people don't. So how do you like see it and feel it and experience it? I mean, you mentioned being Italian and it's inherent, but just for like people that are like, wait, what? Like, how are they connecting Mother Earth and food and sex? Like, how did you become aware of that in your own journey?
My favorite topics. So all my life revolves around. This morning, while I was getting ready to come here and speaking with my partner, and we were speaking about psychedelics specifically, and he said, no, I'm not going to serve myself hape before, I guess I should also speak about what it is, before we leave this morning, because I've been so porous lately after this LSD journey that we did. And I'm going to just wait and, you know, get ourselves back home and grounded since we've been traveling for a month.
Yeah.
Because I don't need to be porous right now, especially we're doing all this traveling around different people and all these public spaces. And he said, you know, I feel that your whole life is just, you're being dulled. Your senses are being dulled, like from the moment you come out of the womb, maybe even in the womb, you know? And then psychedelics bring it back for you. They bring back the sensitivity, the senses, and connectivity, not just connection to yourself, but others and the earth. Connection, period. All connection, right? And I believe that I have always been connected to the earth and myself and food, all of these topics that we're touching upon. But I really do attribute a lot of that to psychedelics and my exploration of plant medicines and psychedelics.
Yeah. Beautiful. We're going to go there. But before we do, I love that you use this word porous, because actually when I conceptualized universal intimacy to name this podcast, I was like, okay, I have to define that. So what does universal intimacy mean to me? And I define it as the porosity of beingness. So it's like this awareness that like we're always in this field of interconnectivity of the all, right? And this is what you're speaking into regarding how plant medicines can enhance that, illuminate that, or make that come online for folks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So share, I mean, you talked about hape, and LSD, which is, I'm like, yeah, the natural would be, starts with the S. What is the natural form of LSD? Isn't there one?
Are you speaking of psilocybin, which is mushrooms, psychedelic mushrooms?
Yeah.
Well, LSD actually comes from ergot, which is a mushroom, which is fungus. Yeah, it's just a little bit more intense, 12-hour experience with some other chemical components.
Yeah.
But I won't claim to be an expert on that piece. I've never synthesized LSD. However, the man who edited my book by hand in prison is the king of LSD. So he would be the one to ask.
Wait, in prison?
This is kind of a crazy story.
Yeah.
I love to mention him because he's such a beautiful soul. So some time ago when my partner, ex-husband, and I were working on Psychedelic Times, creating psychedelictimes.com. Someone reached out and said, I have a book that I'd like you to share on the website, and maybe even someone you could interview. The author is William Leonard Picard.
Okay.
And he is the king of acid, the acid king. He's serving a double life sentence right now because he was cooking planetary doses of LSD with a group of a total of 6 people. And he wrote a book about it.
Oh, wow.
And it's like a Bible. The book, it's bigger than a Bible. I don't know. The book is very complex. You can only make it through a sentence or two before you need to pick up a dictionary. This man, this is what it does. I mean, he was intelligent before, but then with all of the LSD, just the interconnectivity in his brain and the access to, I feel that he has access to more of his brain.
Yeah.
Just the level of intelligence.
Yeah, well, tell it, like, what is LSD doing to the brain from your perspective?
I do believe it's allowing us to use more of our brain. It's creating neuroplasticity. We're able to create new dendritic connections, new neural pathways with so much more ease when there's LSD in our system. I think there's a lot of images, if you want to just look online right now, what's happening in the brain on specifically psilocybin, since there are so many clinical trials going on. And it'll show the brain with all of this connectivity happening, and the brain is illuminated, and then the brain without any psilocybin. And there's not as much going on there. Right. So it just wakes up the brain, to put it really simply.
Sure. Yeah. And so psilocybin, for folks that aren't aware, is another term for
magic mushrooms.
Yeah, magic mushrooms. Tell us more about psilocybin and its usage, and, you know, as an assisted therapy or treatment. What are folks using it for?
I'll share a little story, which is really, it's short, but heavy. And I think it's important. So there was a moment in the San Francisco Bay Area while I was living there. This is also where Psychedelic Times was born. There was a lot happening in that. It's like the epicenter of psychedelics, the San Francisco Bay Area. So I lived there for about a decade, and there were a couple people that I would support and just making connections so that they could get psilocybin in their lives. It was really benefiting them in a myriad of ways. And this one particular woman who I wasn't super close with, but I met up with, she said, "Can you come inside? I just want to talk to you for a moment." And I said, "No, I have to go." She said, "Okay, just really quick. So I've been microdosing for 3 months now. And I want to tell you that when I started, it was because I was looking for any answer, because I'm a single mom. I'm struggling financially. I have one autistic son, and I think 3 or 4 other children. And it's been really, really hard for me. Just life in general, it's been challenging. And this is heavy. I had a whole plan to kill my son and all of my children, and then myself, to just put an end to this, because it was too much.
Wow.
It was too much for me.
This woman just invited you into her home and started.
She's like, "I need to tell you this."
Wow. She intuitively fell into your capacity as a space holder.
Yeah. I was like, okay, tell me more.
Yeah.
And she said, "I just want to tell you that I no longer have these thoughts anymore. I've completely cleared this. I have no desire to move forward with this plan anymore. I feel solid. I feel stable. I feel happy. I'm grateful for my life. And it's all because I started microdosing, not even taking crazy amounts, microdosing mushrooms, psilocybin, small sub-perceptual dose that she doesn't even feel. And she's not taking any medications anymore."
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, I have to breathe into that one for a second, because I put myself back in that space. It was really heavy to hear that. I mean, I'm sure it is for anyone, right? To hear that someone's struggling that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is the power of the plants.
Yeah.
And the mushrooms and the
Psychedelics. Yeah.
of all psychedelics.
Yeah. And specifically for psilocybin, like, what is a microdose versus, we hear a lot about like the hero's dose. Maybe color that in for our listeners.
Yeah. So a hero's dose, okay, 5 grams hero's dose. And a microdose, subperceptual, can't feel anything, see anything. There's no crazy pink elephants running around. Not that there always is. So if you look at a scale, 0.1, 10th of 1 gram as opposed to 5 grams.
Okay.
So it's
any
nothing.
microdose is anything under 1 gram or anything under point.
I'd say you can start to feel it once you get higher, especially me, speaking to someone who's really sensitive. I even feel the microdose. I've gotten to that point.
The most I've ever taken is 1.5. I'm a lightweight.
And you had a full journey.
Well, what is your definition of a full journey?
Tell me what happened and I'll tell you.
I mean, we're going here, right? You asked if I'd ever talked about my experiences. Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of fear surrounding surrender, like losing control. I also have fears related to transcendental states in which I may not come back. Not to say that with mushrooms that would occur. So let's just putting that out there. I trust the fun guy. But it's I've never had high enough of a dose to really go into an inner journey. I'm usually quite on that type of dose. I'm feeling into the interconnectivity, maybe there's some emotion that arises, tears, usually joy related to hearing music in ways that the normal 3D ear might not pick up on. So I'm aware of different notes in music. I can see different things in terms of the natural world. So the elements, like speaking to the rocks, the people of the trees, not people, but spirits. Tree energy, plant energy, rocks, stone. I don't know what those folks. And then also, there's usually for me in my journeys, like a lot of sensuality, a lot of pleasure, a lot of erotic energy that comes through, a lot of joy, singing, dancing. I mean, I feel like I'm an amazing singer on mushrooms. It opens a channel, and then and movement. And then there's always that awareness of like seeing people differently too, like shape-shifting the archetypal resonances of humans, and sometimes seeing like the naughty on their faces and kind of, but I haven't ever had like a full inner, like I have the blindfold on, like a clinical study, like practice of a journey.
But when you took this amount, are you specifically referring to that one time or just multiple experiences that you've had?
Multiple experiences. I'm referencing different moments and multiple experiences,
So the one specific time that you took the higher amount or the highest amount, was there anything different that you experienced and that was something more pronounced or something within yourself that you felt different than the other?
That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, again, I always have been connected. Similarly, how we began the podcast is like connected to the interconnectivity of the all. So for me, none of this was profound. There's no profundity in those experiences related to like, oh my God, I can like talk to trees or see. It's like that's also kind of part of my 3D reality. It's just creating the time and space with which I'm able to do so, right? And usually I'm held in a container. I don't really do journeys alone. I'm usually in a ceremonial container. So it's also influenced by the guides that I'm with and what we get access to in those journeys. So there's always a lot of music is a key component as well. So I don't know if I've really answered your question, but no, nothing. I feel like I've never had like one of those really heavy, dark journeys where I've really like processed my shit. And I actually was calling this in a couple weekends ago. My partner knows this, that one of my guides, Mary Isis is her name. Okay. I don't know if you know Mary, but she's actually in town. And they were sitting in ceremony and I was super excited to sit. And then I found out like I wanted to sit with psilocybin, and then I found out 2 days before they were doing 5-MeO. And I was like, Yeah, no, I'm not feeling called to sit in a group ceremony with 5-MeO, which we can talk about.
That's a big one.
But yeah, because I really wanted to journey with psilocybin to like kind of go deeper into my shadows and really feel into the programming that is holding me back from being my highest vibrational self. And similar to the story you shared, it's like that's a certain level of heaviness that you presence. But even within my own 3D human experience, you know, I'm right now, like really questioning my purpose. And I sometimes think that the medicine can help create clarity.
It can. And sometimes it can totally derail you. And not necessarily in a negative way. But this is the thing. You said, okay, I wasn't called to do the 5-MeO. So when you mentioned Entheo Ventures in the beginning, when that was created, was right after a 5-MeO journey, the first 5-MeO journey for my previous partner. And also Psychedelic Times was after 5-MeO.
Oh my gosh. Awesome.
So
so tell us about 5-MeO.
A lot of people. So 5-MeO, or Bufo, some people call it, is from a secretion, a certain toad, the Sonoran desert toad, which only crawls out of the ground for a very short period of time every year. I think it's something like a month, or maybe it's 4 months. These specifics don't always stick with me. But the point is, it's not easy to obtain this substance. So it's a dried out secretion from the toad's back. Wow. And it's vaporized, it's smoked. And some people are...
So when they're harvesting this from the animal, they're kind of, the animal comes out, the toad comes out from its hiding, like its hibernation, and like the forager, the harvester is like just there and witnesses, oh my God, the toad's here. And then they scrape the back. Or do you know about the extraction procedure? I'm so curious because I'm like envisioning this toad, you know, coming out like a groundhog.
Yeah.
Right?
The toad is out. Grab it.
Yeah.
Pet it.
Does it have to like orgasm? Is that what the excretion is? No.
I wish it did. Wouldn't that be great if that's what it came from?
Yeah.
I think it comes from fear. I think it's a defense mechanism. So that part doesn't always feel great.
That track.
However, don't quote me on that. There's I believe it's a Vice series where one of the people I know, Dr. Jerry, as we called him, he was, meeting with the toads, harvesting, whatever. It's all on there. However, I watched a piece of it and had to turn it off because I was like, he just put a toad in a garbage bag. I think the toad was fine. They let them out, whatever. But the whole thing, I'm like, I can't.
Why was the toad in the garbage bag?
He was collecting a lot of it.
Oh.
So he had gathered them all. Either way.
I'm like seeing the toads wearing crowns right now. Isn't that interesting?
I love that. So I do know how combo is harvested, which I also work with.
Okay, we'll talk about that next.
Yeah, so that is where they like tickle the toes of the frog. It's not a frog, it's a toad. And then they scrape it gently off of its back. So it could be similar.
That's what I'm thinking. It's more combo. Okay.
It could be similar. Yeah, I haven't
okay, let's stay with Bufo. Sorry, I'm going.
That's great.
So Bufo, aka 5-MeO.
Yes.
What is it?
Yeah. So it is the God molecule. So when you smoke it and you go fully into a launch, we say that in some circles, many of us, not everyone, see the light. Mm-hmm. You see the white light. You go toward the white light, just like you've heard a million times in NDE and the near-death experiences, right? We've all heard about those. I saw the white light. I saw the angels. They came to get me. And I went through the door. Same thing.
Right.
Same exact thing. So I do believe that I've experienced death through the 6-7 times that I've sat with 5-MeO. And it was great.
Yeah. Okay, so I've heard that there's a handshake, there's seeing the face of God, and then there's like the full hug, like this, like really seeing the white light. Have you heard this expression as well, that you can take like a handshake dose, so it's not the full launch?
Yeah, all servers, practitioners, whatever you want to call them, people who are carrying this medicine, they have their own lingo.
Got it.
So it's helping people who are receiving to just let go. Okay, this is the handshake, whatever. And the person who I started with has his own thing too. You're either gonna go into the cosmic baby or the laugher or the runner, or there's like all these archetypes. And after so many sessions,
what's the runner?
You get up and you run.
You try to run away from it.
You run. You don't run away from it. You're on it and you're running. You're gone.
Damn.
So I've sat with
that
people.
That probably would have been me. That's why I had the intuitive hit to not sit in this group ceremony. I would have been like, I am out the
Really?
door. I feel that in my body. Yeah. Because I'm a runner.
Okay.
Meaning flee is my most activated trauma response.
Okay.
Like
it's very possible.
Get the fuck out of here. Me out.
Interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
I do want to know now. I'm like, damn, tell me what happened.
Wait, so all 5 times you've seen the white light? Okay.
Every single time.
That's
and
amazing,
I always have an archetype. It's always the same.
What is yours?
I'm the Buddha. I just sit there. There's also something with the bilateral symmetry of the brain. So if you start, your hemispheres are supposedly synced of your brain. If you start doing this like bilateral symmetry with your body, these movements, so like angel wings, and then the feet too start going. You're like making an angel in the snow with your body during the experience, and that's what happens with me. It's what's happened.
The right
3
and the
times.
left hemisphere are syncing up. Is it something with the pineal gland? Is the pineal gland getting decalcified?
That's happening. That's happening for sure. But I'm not sure if that is there's a lot happening. I'd love to reference a woman who works with this medicine at a university and is studying it, and her name is not coming, but it'll come.
We can put it in the show notes.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. But there's research being done, so it's worth looking into it because it's fascinating what's actually happening to the body and brain. And
right, and this goes back to what you were presencing with psilocybin. Is the reason why we're calling them medicines are now being studied, and kudos to you for being one of the pioneers in recognizing this from an academic lens, is because they actually can help people heal with severe PTSD and complex PTSD and depression, anxiety, right? So all of these sort of misunderstood mental illnesses that we really don't have targeted therapies for, right? Like, let's be real. Anyone who understands, there's a beautiful book by Robert Whitaker, which is the epidemic, the something epidemic. But it's about the fact that, big pharma, which does a lot for healing and preventative medicine for the physical body and even the heart. 30 years ago, they tried to apply that methodology and approach of pharmaceutical drugs to the brain, and you can't understand the complexity of the brain in the same way that you can try to understand the rest of the body. So to take a model of using pharmaceutical drugs for other ailments or diseases and trying to apply it to mental health, it's a huge minefield now of what we're realizing. It's disasterful, right? People, anytime you see a big pharma drug that is being prescribed for depression or anxiety, I love how they'll always have the disclaimer, like, may cause suicide. It's like, what? Like, how are we giving people, like, now I'm going to start to get passionate, right? And I want to hear your perspective on this. Like, why big pharma is really hurting us from a mental health lens. Like, how is it happening that people are taking Lexapro, Paxil, I don't even know the names of all these things, and yet it's like the system is failing us, right?
Mm-hmm. It has been for a while, at least 100 years, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Mental illness, in my opinion, does not come from a lack of Lexapro. Is that the name of it even?
Yeah. Well, it can't be
them.
supported by the Lexapro. And there's a place of honoring and recognizing that potentially some of these substances, because they're also substances, these pharmaceutical drugs, could help someone in a very controlled setting, such as like the loss of a loved one, like, okay, your partner dies and you need to get over this hump, right? So for short-term dosage, I think there is efficacy related to some of these pharmaceutical drugs, but for long-term usage, which, let's face it, most mental health disparities are lifetime, if not they get activated during early 20s.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, this is my journey in terms of my entry into embodiment, was that I was diagnosed bipolar and I refused the treatment. You know, I understood enough about the system to know that when I was doing CBT, DBT therapy and meeting with the psychologist, psychiatrist, their role, the psychiatrist specifically, their role was to provide a diagnosis from the DSM-5 or whatever it's called, to be able to bill insurance companies and then to prescribe me a drug to be able to get the kickbacks from Big Pharma. And I saw through that right away. And I was like, I think I'm going to go study Buddhism with Tara Brach instead. You know? Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Yeah. This whole subject frustrates me so much. I'm allowing myself to just feel it and come back to center, because I just really don't, even in the situation where as you referenced, your partner just died and you're really not able to cope and you're not functioning, you're not able to move through your daily routine in any way, shape, or form. Even in that situation, find a psychedelic psychotherapist, sit with some mushrooms. It will always be more, in my opinion, advantageous than anything in a little orange bottle ever. I do not. I've lost multiple family members because of the little orange bottles. So I really don't have. I'm just,
and hearing what you're saying and with me and on this podcast feels very normal. And yet the truth is that this world has been so underground and taboo for so long. And so again, like, kudos to you for starting Psychedelic Times and going to the first certification program in the country to normalize this and to be a part of MAPS. Maybe you can share about what MAPS is, because it's like these conversations are bubbling up to the surface right now because consciousness is rising. You know, we're not in the 70s anymore where it was just like Terrence McKenna and like wild hippies. Like, this is actually now backed by science.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much to be explored and discovered if anyone is curious. And the one note that I was just about to make was, and I will go into all of that, that psilocybin itself boosts serotonin in the brain in a really sustainable way, as opposed to it, some drug that has all these crazy side effects, like suicide as a side effect, and there's no side effects. Eventually the liver might get a little bit tired if you're taking mushrooms every single day.
Okay.
But you don't need to. And your body will actually tell you, hey, you don't need this anymore. It's not like I've never heard of anybody, it's possible, but I really, really doubt it. I've never heard of anybody going crazy, just, I have to take it every single day. It's not like that.
Right. There is no addictive properties to it. You can't really OD on mushrooms.
No.
Yeah.
You can't. It's wild. You can't OD on them. You'll have a really challenging journey, perhaps, if you take so much into your system, but you'll be fine. You'll come out. You'll be alive, and you probably won't want to jump off a bridge, even though that's what happens with these other things that are supposed to help us. So yeah, MAPS. You reference MAPS, and I personally am not a part of MAPS, but have supported their work on the sidelines through Psychedelic Times, just promoting what they're doing and shedding light on their studies. So MAPS is the Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies. And it's a mouthful.
Yeah, Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies. Yes.
Yeah.
I love that it's multidisciplinary. It's so important to recognize that, it's integrating
Absolutely.
multiple disciplines.
Yeah, absolutely. So they are the ones doing the clinical trials to have these medicines, these substances legalized for therapeutic use. So they went through, for example, phase 3 clinical trials with MDMA and did all of this MDMA, assisted therapy. And it was working, veterans coming out going, oh, I don't want to jump off a bridge anymore after I had this profound journey. And MDMA was actually created for marriage counseling. Yeah. And it really works because I was married for 11 years and I attribute it to every 6 to 12 months sitting with my partner on MDMA. I don't think we would have made it 11 years without this and no therapy or anyone supporting from the outside.
Let's talk about MDMA. Street name, ecstasy. Molly, that's right.
That girl.
But in its purest form, like when you get it from a trusted source. And I'm saying pure because, again, when it's like a party drug, it can have other things in it. It's really dangerous.
It can be
on the
dangerous.
brain.
Yeah.
And in general, right? Like it can be dangerous to your serotonin levels and all of that. I know we had some, I don't want to call it bad Molly, but but I've also learned recently that you're not supposed to sit with it very frequently, right? Like every 6 months is fine. But if you were taking MDMA like every week, it's not good for the brain. Is that right? What is your opinion on this?
I'm not going to reference his name, but I had a researcher, a scientist, a younger, very, very wise, well-versed scientist that I sat down with and said, okay, so how much can I really take? Really, really pure MDMA, very pure. Not the pressed pills that you don't know what's in there. They're orange, they're blue. I don't know why they're blue. Anyway, what if I'm
white, right?
Yeah, why are they blue?
So a blue pill is something different. We know what the blue pill is. It's not.
I don't know if I want the blue pill or the orange pill. Or why is it purple? But he said, we haven't really found that it's neurotoxic, even in taking it once a month.
Okay.
Yes, you'll get run down, especially if you're already run down. That's a big thing to pay attention to. What does your neurochemistry look like right now? Are you already depleted? Are things already messy? Have you been playing with taking pharmaceuticals off and on? Are you taking SSRIs every so often? There are a lot of factors to consider. But he said, I don't see any danger in taking it once a month. And I did for a long time, just to be very clear. So unless somebody...
you never had like the come down the next day,
Yes. When I was taking it and I was taking it orally. So this is going to sound really scary to people, and I'm probably going to sound like some, like when we start to bring in the idea of needles, even though I've used a lot of needles for a really, really long time for peptides. Just subcutaneous. So that's when you're using a really thin, short needle and injecting peptides into fat. So it's, you're on like the very top layer here. It's not too intense. I won't go too deep into that.
I've been hearing a lot about peptides. So can we go there next?
Yeah. So I've used peptides for a while. So I feel comfortable with a syringe, a tiny, tiny needle that looks like a hair. It's so fine. So actually you can use MDMA this way. And I have been, just to be totally transparent.
Yeah.
And for me, there's no come down. And maybe that's my unique chemistry or, what's going on with my body.
But there's stuff with the gut lining, I'm sure, when you're ingesting it.
Yeah, because it's not natural. But yeah, I've been pretty good. And I've only had subcutaneous for probably the past year and a half. That's the only way I've had it administered. But orally, yes, I feel I feel a little bit like my ass got kicked if I take it a good amount, and then the next day I'm beat.
Okay, so tell me about peptides. I feel like this just came into my field recently too. I'm curious.
Yeah, I actually have a friend who's really well versed in this, and I always go to him with all of the true peptide information. I can only give very surface level, which is I'll just tell the story. I was walking around with a gallon jug of water, trying to up my hydration in life. Who walks around with a gallon glass jug? Like, just this is already big enough.
You walk around with your own water. I know this about you. I've been around you long enough.
The water.
Lana brings her own water.
You have to have good water in life. What are you doing? We are water. We're just big sacks of water. It's so important. So I'm rushing around, and I put this jug up on the counter, and it's a marble countertop that I set it on, and I miss, and it shatters and goes into my foot, and I slice through. It sliced through a tendon on my foot. I was just gushing blood.
Scary.
And it was in 2020. And I called a friend and I said, I am not going to the hospital. I will lay on the floor and bleed to death. I'm not going to the hospital. It's 2020. The hospitals were insane, as we all know. And I don't have COVID. I'm not going. So he said, okay, well, what are you going to do? I'm like, I don't know, like, come fix it. And this is my friend who, fortunately, he knows a lot about peptides. He's a surfer. He's got all kinds of bumps and bruises and cuts and severed limbs. No, almost.
Shark attack.
Shark attack.
When you get attacked by a shark, must have peptides.
You can just inject it in and you're fine. Oh my gosh. Almost. This is the crazy thing. So he comes over and he super glues my foot because he's done it to himself, gash yourself open surfing, and you just super glue it, right? You're not going to go to the hospital. It was wild. It was probably a little bit of a crazy mission to, like, okay, how are we going to make sure you're okay? Even though, like, you're gushing blood from your foot, it's pretty serious. There's glass inside of my foot. He said, you know what, we're just going to get you on a bunch of peptides, and you're going to look at this every day, and you're going to keep, like, literally manually closing up this huge gaping hole on my foot with, like, tendons, one tendon severed. And, I think it was maybe 2 weeks later, a week or two later, I ordered all these peptides and he taught me how to inject them to start healing my foot as fast as possible. And it healed in record time. Yeah. And I even saw a podiatrist shortly after, maybe 6 months after it happened. And he said, I cannot believe it healed this well. It was mind blowing. Of course, I was very attentive to it and using all of the wooey things and, but I really think the peptides helped a lot. So I don't claim to be an expert on peptides, so we won't explain exactly what they did, but we will have to put him in the show notes too, because he is a peptide expert. He's the one who guided me, literally guided me. Okay, put the needle in here and you pull the water out and you tap the bubble out.
Well, I can tell even in the story, the expression you used of how he said, we're just going to get you on some peptides. Like, that's just like classic, right? Like, anyone who's an expert in anything, they kind of talk about it in that way of like, we're just going to get you on this and you're going to be all good.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay.
Yeah, the conviction in his voice.
Like, you'll be fine. Oh, you'll be fine. We're just going to get you on some peptides.
Okay. A hole in my foot.
Oh my God.
I couldn't walk for 2 months.
Wow. Okay. I want to go back to MDMA because you mentioned it as a great...
everything.
substance. I don't like calling things drugs, but a great tool, a medicine. Thank you for that. For couples, for folks in partnerships. Why? Tell us why MDMA. Again, some people listening may think of it as a party drug. Yeah. And that, you feel kind of all, I don't know, lovey-dovey on it, or I don't know how people use it, but tell us why it's good for couples.
Yeah, don't do MDMA at a party. No, I mean, a lot of people do. A lot of my dear friends do. I see it as this, it's such a sacred experience for me. I could never use it in that way. How I was introduced to it, like 15 years old at a rave, and it was great, but it was silly to use it in that way because it's so profound when you can create a space with your partner or even your sister or brother, anyone you're looking to find some resolve with, or just connection. And you have this container that you've created for 4 hours, 6 hours, something like this. And it's called heart medicine for a reason, because you're able to fully tune into the heart and what's on the heart and be able to communicate in a way where there's no walls. It's full transparency when you communicate on MDMA, and you're speaking from your heart for a fact. And when you speak from the heart, that's when you're able to connect to somebody else's heart and have that deep connection, and you're able to resolve things, because it's when we're in our minds and we're not in our bodies and we're so disconnected that we have the discord, when we have the disharmony in a relationship, in any connection. So when you're able to speak from your heart, things get resolved and you feel that connection. And sometimes you don't need to say much and things clear up.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. It's a pure space.
Absolutely.
What's coming to mind is that word pure, because your heart is open. And a lot of these plant medicines, many of them some can open the mind, like LSD, and others can open the heart. Yeah. And I think that's a lot of the work that I know we're here to do as practitioners, is to help humans to drop out of the mind, honor the mind, the exquisite nature of the mind, but drop out of the mind, drop into the heart. Right? And when we can open the heart, because often in our 3D experience, we have to have a shield over the heart to protect this little squishy feeling thing, right? And then we can access the purity of the love and the light energy in a way that's unfiltered and unobstructed. And
yeah, absolutely. So many people say, oh, it was like 10 years of therapy in, one session, one journey. And that's what it was created for. And it works. It really works. You can sit down with anyone and just cut through the BS and get to the heart.
Yeah. And tell me, I'm curious, is that part of when you started Lana Shay, the Pure Way, is it related to this purity of the heart, or is this more now the holistic? Tell us about Lana Shay, the Pure Way.
It's all interwoven, right? So yeah, MDMA is definitely a part of it, because I am always advocating for people to explore with plant medicines and psychedelics. And then it seems that everything else just kind of falls in line. You realize what you need to be putting in, on, and around your body. What are the things that are going to nourish my vessel, my temple, so that I can be the best version of myself and communicate with people in the way that serves them and serves me. And honestly, there's an altruistic motive there. It's like this, okay, it sounds so silly, but world peace. It'll be a better world. We'll live in a better universe if people are more connected to themselves and to each other, and doing that through psychedelics. And yes, of course, the Pure Way was born out of all of the psychedelic use, and then connecting to the earth and going, oh, okay, the more that I stand with my bare feet on the ground and just remove all of the external noise, the better I feel and the better I show up in front of other people and for myself. And the way that I move through the world makes more sense to me. I feel more aligned. Yes. So much goes into that. But
so tell us this piece surrounding what we put in, on, and around our bodies. And I know you mentioned sacred temple, which I resonate with as a tantrika, but just for regular everyday humans, like, what should we be putting in and on and around our bodies?
Yeah. If it was something your great grandmother had access to, most likely that is the unadulterated form I would recommend putting in, on, and around. If it's something that was just created recently, even though we are really coming back there. The other day I was at my favorite place in the world, a farmer's market in California. I could just walk around California farmers markets for the rest of my life and be fine. Like, I don't need to do anything else.
I know,
it's just
right?
The farmer's market is my happy place. Like, some women love to go shopping. They love to go to the mall. They love, we all have our things, right? I just want to be at farmers markets. I really do. The second I start walking down that lane and look to my left and see like bright orange persimmons, and then roses on the other side, and then the bone broth, and then
the like goat milk soap.
Oh my God.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Just nourishes the soul. Well, I sit here it's so funny. I have this bottle right here, and it does not have Saratoga still water in it, even though it did. Oh. I have raw milk in it and raw cacao powder.
Stop. I was going to say, tell us about water. What's the water we should be drinking? And then maybe we can go into food.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So this is not easy to find, but raw spring water is like the top, right? If you can go harvest your own spring water, it's a luxury being in California. I was there for so many years. Mm-hmm. But we would literally drive 2 hours from our house, at the side of a mountain. It's just the crazy landscape there. And there's somebody had put a pipe in the side of a mountain, and there's water gushing out of it, and it's just water from the earth.
I know. In Italy, this was going back to Italy. Yeah, the same thing in Italy. We would do that, and
wow, yeah,
so pure.
Once again, it makes me I have to be going my proud Italian moment. Yeah. Like, these people really care about what they put in their bodies in terms of nourishment. Yeah, it's so important.
And I heard there's like an app that you can find spring.
So findaspring.com. Yeah. I don't know if it's officially an app now, but it is a website, findaspring.com. So if there's one in your area, it'll likely be on that site. And if it's not, I think that you can put that one on there. If you found a spring, you can put it on there. And there's, the places that everyone knows. If you've been on the West Coast, like, you can go collect the water. Stinson Beach was the area that I'm thinking of right now, referring to. And then there's Mount Shasta. You can go get water there. And if you can't go collect raw spring water, because it's not an option for everybody, unfortunately. But this is important because this is water that the earth has structured. It's gone through all of the rock, and I can go really deep into this, but you can find all this on your own. This isn't a podcast about water, although it could be, because it's so important.
It is.
You cannot be drinking tap water. There's a mass amount of trace pharmaceuticals in the tap water. If you don't want to take pharmaceuticals, sorry, you're taking them if you have tap water, or if you're even showering in tap water, because it's so easy for all of that to come in through the skin. Our skin is porous, right? Going full circle here. And it's really, really important that that water is pure as well, because we're consuming all of it. We're consuming everything that's around us all the time, including our clothes. I can't wear polyester anymore. It's just like I'm trapped in a plastic bag. You can feel it, especially when you're on psychedelics.
So the water, so when you going back to like the showers and the baths, there's a filter, right? Like something that I know you travel with it.
I travel with the shower filter.
Yeah.
And in hotels.
Is it through Kagan,
I have a wrench.
or is it a different company?
My favorite water filter right now is Aquasana. That's the one for the shower, but it's also whole home filtration. So you can just, every tap will have that filtered water coming through it. That is the best way. Or if you can move somewhere where you have spring water fed into your house, or well water. But yeah.
Okay, so water,
if you're traveling, you can at least do Saratoga.
Water, and then let's talk about food. You started to talk about raw milk. What?
If you can just eat from a farmer's market in California, which we also can't all do. Find a farmer in your area if you can. Almost everywhere I've been in the U.S., at least, definitely outside of the U.S., you can find a local CSA, a community-supported agriculture, where so many people pay in to have a box delivered to their house, and you get what's in season from a local farm. And then you're supporting your local farmers. And without them, we will perish. We need them. So please support your local farmers. Find them.
Yes.
Realmilk.com is where you can find raw milk sources almost anywhere in the country now. I've found so many in places that
raw milk.
Your microbiome, so your gut, the biodiversity of your gut literally determines your intellect. It literally determines who you are and how you operate in the world. And if it is dead in there. There's no bacteria in there. There's no diversity in there because you've been taking antibiotics or you've been breathing in tons of synthetic crap. You know, there's so many things that can screw up our microbiome. You want to feed it with what it actually needs. And raw milk has that. Raw cheeses have that. All the ferments. So the sauerkraut and
what about the yogurt? Should I be eating cow's milk yogurt? Or does
if it agrees with you, got to kind of experiment. Sometimes the sheep yogurt's better, or the goat yogurt, but definitely get it once again from a farmer. I've been ordering from Pennsylvania, DutchMeadows.com, I think it is where I've been ordering all of my dairy from, and it's all raw.
Okay, but there's no fermented yogurt. There's no yogurt that's at the grocery store right now that you think is...
No.
Oh, because it's pasteurized.
Yes.
So explain to the listeners what raw milk is versus pasteurized milk.
So when you pasteurize and homogenize a dairy product, which means that they spin it really, really fast and they heat it. Mm-hmm. Those molecules are so small in that homogenized, pasteurized dairy, they actually scar your arteries as you drink it, like as you're consuming it. It's really detrimental to your health. Conventional dairy is poison.
The worst, yeah. And not
I feel like I'm going to be canceled and off.
No, it's okay. Not to mention the hormones and the antibiotics that could potentially be in those cows.
Are definitely.
That's the worst. But I think this is a really exquisite point regarding pasteurization that I don't think a lot of humans realize, because I think people mostly think of the heat.
Yes.
But for you to presence this topic of the way that they're spinning these molecules, this goes back to water too, of how... why tap water is so bad. It's because the way that the water molecule is moving through the pipes, it's not organic. I could just say that for lack of a better term. Whereas we're really trying to get water back to this circular pattern and this motion and structure. And I'm going to share my own transmission as a priestess, but I would love for you to color it in as well, is how, you know, when you think about from the origin of time and humanity on this planet, it was always the role of the women to gather the water. Mm. And the women would go down to the natural springs or the streams or the rivers, and they would gather this water. And as they would gather the water, they would sing. And they weren't just singing to pass the time or to make it go quicker. They were actually coding the water with their song, with their voices coming from their hearts, right? Heart chakra channeled through the throat, out, coding this water, right? And they're carrying it in these, I'm closing my eyes because we're like envisioning these times, right? They're carrying it in these vessels that are rounded cauldrons, right? So as they're carrying it, the water is spiraling and spinning, and they're singing and they're coding it. And like, we've forgotten this, and we've lost touch with the importance of H2O actually being coded with these divine feminine frequencies of healing.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm just like ready to stand up and clap. Yes, more of that. Can we share that? It's so important. And now we're doing so much research in the world with sound and vibration and how sound can be healing. And yes, the song of these women who are collecting the water and feeling in full devotion to serving their tribe or community or their families with this water, and how important it is that it actually hydrates and nourishes, and they're infusing that into the water with their voice. Yes. Sing to your water.
Pray over our water even, right? Yes. Even if it's tap water, it's like, can I just, like, before I drink it, just kind of code this water with the highest frequencies of love and gratitude and blessing, and may this water nourish and hydrate and just harmonize me to be of service to humanity and this planet for the highest good for the highest good for all. Yes. And so it is.
Oh.
Yay. Just a simple priestess practice here on the podcast. I love it.
My structured water, my blessed structured water.
Oh.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Okay, so water, milk, raw milk, foods that are grown on this earth from farmers that you trust. We want to look for
small farmers, small farms.
Regenerative?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And of course, always organic in this world. This word is so, I feel like it's lost its importance and it gets like tossed around.
Well, and there's also like certified organic and biodynamic. And now, I mean, we've both been in California a lot, and you can literally see the organic farm right next to the non-organic farm, and pesticide
moves. Travels.
Yeah. So how can we not be eating glyphosate?
Yeah. Please meet your local farmers. Like even if you live somewhere cold, there's, they have greenhouses set up, whatever. Can order from other places, which is just almost the silliest thing ever. But sometimes like I've had to do this because I don't trust what I have access to. This is not my favorite thing to speak about, so we won't go far into it. But I think it's been approved for a while, but now we all know that it's approved. The appeal label is stuck on our organic produce now, which I don't know if you know about or not, but it's a chemical that Bill Gates created and is now on our organic produce to prolong the shelf life.
Oh, they're spraying it with something to prolong. I know.
And the people who are spraying this on the crops are not supposed to breathe it in or touch it, but we're supposed to eat it, and it says organic on it. So if you go to one of these big chains, now unfortunately Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Sprouts, like you think these have organic produce, they don't. They have produce that has been contaminated by this.
When you were visiting me last month, we were talking about the lemons, and this is what you were specifically referencing, that even though these are organic lemons from Trader Joe's, they've been sprayed with this.
Yeah.
Shit, what are we supposed to do?
I know. I'm so frustrated. I bought so many lemons in California, and they're literally in my suitcase, and they're not going to last much longer. But I'm like, at least I have these lemons from the farmer that I met at the farmer's market. But yeah, maybe if it's not in season, then maybe you can't eat lemons unless you're going to get them from somewhere else in your city.
We need to go to Sorrento.
I'm moving to Italy.
We need to go to Italy.
Goodbye. I'm moving to Italy. I would.
Yes. No, and this is actually when I started to notice, even with organic produce, that something was shifting before, because I don't really like read the news or follow things, is shelf life, not shelf life, but just like putting it on the counter. I usually allow most of my fruits to stay on the counter to kind of ripen.
Of course.
And they last forever now. All the organic produce, like exactly. Produce should be decaying if it's left on the counter within like 2 days, 2 to 3 days.
Yes. Unfortunately, produce doesn't last forever. It goes quick. And if it's really good, it goes really quick. But these
apples now that are lasting for like 2 months on the kitchen counter, like those are not apples. Like that is GMO seed that has been genetically engineered specifically to last longer, and it's sprayed with something.
And if there is a disconnect within anyone listening to this, or anyone in the world, if you're listening and you know someone who goes, oh, it's okay if we eat that, our body can deal with it. Our bodies become every single thing that we put in our mouths. That is the building blocks of our cells. That you are what you eat. Yes, we've all heard that, but do we really pay attention to it? If you're an apple that can sit on the counter for that long and not decaying, like what is that made of? Like the plastic, the microplastics that we're consuming.
Tell us about microplastics.
Oh man, it feels so unavoidable. It's crazy. I just learned that we can also be consuming microplastics that are entering our bodies through the polyester curtains on our windows, because these little particles are coming from all directions.
I know.
So it's so important to also be really mindful of what you have in your home. Like my carpets are all sheepskins, you know?
Okay, the carpets. Yeah, I was just thinking about this with the dishwasher detergents, those pods.
Yes.
Like what can I use in the dishwasher? Lana Shay, the Pure Way. Anytime Lana comes to my house, she's like, get rid of that soap. You're like the Meyer soap out. I'm always like, oh my God, okay, what should I be using?
Some people hide stuff before I get to their house. They're like, I don't want to hear about it because I don't know what to do.
For household products, like we're talking detergents, laundry detergent, like what what should we be using?
Yeah, essential oils. I actually have this really silly, it's really old, but it still applies. I created a video with a girlfriend called Conscious Cribs, and we're going through her house, and I'm like, throw away this Tide. It's kind of, we're joking about it. She's like, I'm not throwing it away. Wait till I finish it, and then I'll get a new one. I'm like, no, throw it away now. You know, like this is disturbing your endocrine system. This is...
Wait, I know. I have my partner sitting in the audience, but I have to presence this with him. Like, I made him get rid of the Tide or the Gain or whatever. I was like, I can't sleep with you. I can't even be with you if you continue to use that laundry detergent, because I'm so sensitive. And this, again, I'm a highly sensitive person, HSP. So like, it's not just the smell that I'm like, it's like noxious, but it actually, I can break out. Acne, rashes, people that have eczema, like they understand this a little bit more inherently. Anyone that has sensitive skin, it's like, I actually can't have those laundry detergents or those dryer sheets or any of that. It disrupts our endocrine. So this is something as women that we're extremely sensitive to. I mean, a lot of women right now are having extreme fertility issues. I know so many women who haven't had a bleed in years. And I think this is a topic that people aren't talking enough about, is that our endocrine system is getting disrupted. Our hormones are getting disrupted, not just by the food and the water, but also by some of these household chemicals, right? And perfume. Yeah, I heard this too, like perfume totally disrupts your menstrual cycle.
Yep. Yeah, so
unnatural perfume.
Yeah, I worked in the adult entertainment industry as a stripper for on and off for 14 years. If you could only imagine the amount of Victoria's Secret love spell that I had to inhale on a daily basis in these dressing rooms.
Bed Bath & Beyond lotion.
Oh my goodness. I
just did a vomit face. I can't stand Bed Bath & Beyond.
No, even walking by it.
And Yankee Candle. Someone has to
take these businesses and
do something.
Transform them, alchemize them.
CEOs of Bed Bath & Beyond and Yankee Candle
need mushrooms.
Need to sit with ayahuasca.
Oh my gosh. You take mushrooms and walk in one of those places, you will vomit. You will vomit because you will vomit. Your senses are just so heightened, and you realize what it's doing to your body. You can feel it contorting your insides. Yeah, I'm so passionate about all of this. This is why my brand is The Pure Way. And it's just like, go back to basics. Like everything we're creating that's full of chemicals and can last forever, and it's crap, and it's not, where, like you said, the fertility rates are dropping. Just, wear your wool clothes, your organic cotton panties, and drink spring water. I promise you, you don't need to do anything else.
And thank you for presencing that you have worked in the adult entertainment industry. I really appreciate your transparency and authenticity with that. And I think it's an interesting piece to weave into this topic about the feminine and beauty standards and aesthetic, and the fact that, men want to eat pussy that tastes like cotton candy or something. It's like, what is everything that's wrong about what's getting projected upon the feminine in terms of beauty and aesthetics is connected to consumerism and this artificial way of being. And so again, I really applaud you for like creating The Pure Way while you are in the erotic arts, because you're also here to really activate those women to wake up to say, no, like my pussy is supposed to taste like earth, not cotton candy.
Yes. And it's not supposed to smell like cotton candy either. Like working with these girls, and they're like spraying their pussies before they go out on stage or give a lap dance or whatever. And I'm like, oh my God, you're going to have a crazy yeast infection tomorrow. Like you're throwing off your pH and just like, what are you doing? I worked in a really tiny strip club for a while, and there was a moment where things got really interesting because I'd walk around with Palo Santo in the dressing room, and they're like,
yeah, you did.
Are you like, the manager comes back, are you trying to burn the club down? I'm like, no, bro, I'm trying to breathe. And also trying to help these beautiful women who have so much power. They don't even realize how much power they have from like totally destroying themselves with these products and these practices that are just, I don't want to watch you like leave work to go grab food quick, and you come back and you're eating this toxic fast food and spraying love spell on yourself. Like, step into your power. Like, I started serving them combo, and I created this cute little stripper combo cult at this club I was working at for a while, and things started shifting. And that's this, for a while I've been talking about this whole idea of a conscious strip club, and it's like, it's not about the club being a conscious strip club. It's about the women themselves being fully embodied, powerful women of the earth, like carrying the torch, like these women singing to the water. Like, that's the vibe. That's what the world needs.
Yeah. Wow. Honoring you. This was in Las Vegas or California?
This club was in the heart of Silicon Valley. Okay. Yeah. And no longer exists in the way that it did, but there were girls that were there for a decade or longer. It was just like a home club of these girls, and they were a little community, and they just really, they were truly a community. And so this idea of all of us, like, okay, we're all gonna, have a trip together with some psilocybin, or we're gonna start doing combo together. Okay, like all of us need to be like carrying the Palo Santo around the dressing room now. And,
Yeah, I'm feeling into the importance of this work, starting with the women and femme-bodied individuals and just the ripple effect of that. Like, I'm really feeling it in this setting of even a strip club where these women are these pillars of beauty and an aesthetic, and how that ripples outward into the lives that they touch. And, again, we presenced, priestess lineages and just the importance of the feminine. And it does seem that as women, we are rising, and it's not just about Shakti, Kundalini energy rising. It's also just this awareness that we are more connected to the earth. And so we are these wisdom keepers and medicine carriers. And we're not here to say that, we're more advanced than men. I think you and I really honor the masculine and everything that the sacred masculine brings to this planet and humanity. But I do think that this work does start with women, and women do have to be the way showers and the torch carriers. And we are here to initiate the masculine into this deeper awareness of the importance of what we're putting in, on, and around our bodies.
Yes. I can't even tell you how many men, incredible men I've met in the past, let's say 2-3 years, that have said, oh yeah, I stopped using these toxic products because of my wife or my partner, and I started using psychedelics. She's the one who took me on my first journey, or whatever. And their level of awareness has expanded greatly because this woman, walked in and said, I see a king in you. And the only way that you're going to get there is through purity, through, paying attention to what you're putting in, on, and around. And how are you going to care more about that? Here, let's take some psychedelics first. Let's do some MDMA together.
I love you so much. There's like these multiple tentacles that you and I connect on that are really yummy, related to this concept of connecting humans to source and spirit through these variety of mediums that, again, we see and feel and experience in all these threads of connectivity, whether it's food, whether it's psychedelics, whether it's sex. And why are other people not seeing this or feeling this? And which lens is the most activated within you right now in terms of the advocacy work? Is it the psychedelics? Is it the space of the erotic arts? Maybe it's all of it. Is it holistic living? Because I see you, goddess, and I see what you're doing, and I just want more humans to wake up to the importance of this work, instead of what I feel, unfortunately, is how things can get projected upon, and then the distortions come in, especially around the erotic arts, right? And that we see all of this as a pathway to connect deeper to source, so that we are taking better selves of ourselves as well as each other and the planet.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's just a given once you start exploring with plant medicines and psychedelics. So that's always like the easiest path for me.
Okay.
And no, I'm not advocating it for everyone. Maybe it's not the best for everyone, but everyone that I've seen, everyone that I know who's experienced these altered states does walk on that same path where they feel like they need to tread lightly on the earth and be just better to mankind overall, better to their partner, to lift each other up. And
is Elon Musk doing psychedelic?
He definitely is. I think he's overdoing ketamine specifically, which is not necessarily going to, the rising tide lifting. He's not necessarily doing that in the right way.
What about Zuckerberg?
He's definitely doing psychedelics, but I can't shed too much light on that one. I know that, wow, it just left me. Apple.
Steve.
Yeah, Steve. He openly spoke about how he would have an acid trip every
LSD,
year.
Yeah. I mean, Apple was created because of LSD.
Yeah.
That's well documented.
Yeah. I mean, I lived in the heart of Silicon Valley for years.
I love that you pick up on the thread I just put down without even you're like, yes, I know. Yes, Elon Musk is. Well, because there is something related to creativity and in these expanded states, right? And so these medicines are very useful for anyone who's a visionary, an innovator, an entrepreneur. So there's a piece of it that's related to that. And I guess what happens sometimes where like there could be a disconnect from what we're speaking into of this like connection to source and honoring humanity and the planet and doing what is truly good versus I'm making so much money from this idea. Maybe I'm projecting into how these men think, but
yeah, I don't know if you're projecting. There's a lot to unpack there. I'm looking at which thread I want to pull on.
I think anyone who identifies as a visionary or a creative is ultimately channeling their sacred life force energy into their art or whatever their medium of expression is, with the intention to either this is the tricky part because ego comes in, right? Because like you would hope that everyone is doing what they're doing with this intention of either, I like to say, activating, illuminating, or inspiring, like do something that's going to inspire people for the betterment of all or make our society better. But again, there's also this focus in our world and with technology on speed, productivity. I mean, let's talk about AI because you lived in Silicon Valley for a long time and I know you're very connected with people in venture capitalist frameworks and private equity. So like you have an insider perspective on this. What is happening? Like, what is happening right now with AI and humanity?
There's been public warnings. I think we all know that. Like you referenced Elon Musk. He spoke up a warning on the Joe Rogan podcast, like, oh, this is actually not the right direction. We're not doing the right thing with AI, for example. And I think that ultimately we all know that. I'll just speak about my own experience. This is really simple, basic. Opening up Instagram today and going, oh my gosh, look at this cute little reel of this animal. And I love what's happening. Oh, it's this tiny little baby camel running next to a little baby. I said, there's no camels that size. Oh, this isn't real. This is AI. And this is just my perspective. I would love everyone to be going in this direction. It's possible that it is. Everyone looking at all of the crazy external noise and going, what the hell is this? Is this even real? We don't know what's real anymore. And I think once we start feeling like we're duped, like we don't know if the things that we're taking in are true or false, or if we're really connecting to something real, we start losing faith in it. Yeah. And I think that eventually we're all hoping that we're all going to go like, screw this, no more. We're not playing this game where we don't know if we're like living in reality anymore. And I personally have been feeling that for a long time. Like, can we get back to what's real? Like, can we have real connection?
Yeah, and the reason I'm asking you specifically is as it correlates to psychedelics.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's this concept of real or reality that is historically been limited to 3D-ness or 3D human experience. And yet, what about those transcendental states? What about those visions that people are seeing on ayahuasca and ketamine and psilocybin and LSD? So like, is that not real?
Yeah, that's for you to decide, of course, like for the individual to decide. And I think mostly as a psychonaut, I can speak for some of us, if not all of us, definitely for myself, that I do believe that it was real, that it has been real, that experience of merging with God, with source, with all of creation after having this vaporized dose of 5-MeO, that was pretty fucking real. Yeah, that was as real as it gets.
Yeah.
It shifted every cell in my being. I believe that it shifts your DNA when you have these experiences. And I was reading something the other day about people consuming psilocybin and it literally shifting their DNA.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I believe that it's real. So it's interesting that you're making that correlation.
Yeah.
And what kept popping up the other day for me was seeing, there's this new AI where you can speak to a deceased loved one. So there's an image of them, like a hologram on a screen.
Wait, this is AI?
Yeah. Yeah. And
you like code it for like, grandma reminds me of apple pies and
you can just have a conversation with them like they're there, you know? And if I wouldn't have this experience prior to this, I wouldn't have felt the same way. But I had a girlfriend, dear, sweet sister. Her mother passed not too long ago, and she was communicating with her mother through ChatGPT. She trained it and uploaded her mother's text messages and whatnot, and she just wanted to connect with her mom. And I thought to myself, like, I've wanted to connect with my father so badly, like maybe I would do that, but I wouldn't be able to really enjoy it because I know that it's not him. Yeah. It's not real. And yes, you can pick all these things and go, this is how this person would have responded, you know? But I know inside of me, I know that it's not real. And that's why I'm saying it's up to you. It's up to the individual. Like, is the AI real for you?
Well, whereas you could sit with a medicine, I'm not going to even name a specific one because so many can connect you to deceased loved ones. Yes. I mean, I even did a Kundalini inner journey with someone. Now, this is just simple breath work, sound healing, and came out of the experience and they communicated, or a breathwork journey even, and they communicated with a deceased loved one, grandmother, mother. I mean, so those are very real experiences as well.
Yeah.
That do not involve AI.
Yeah.
It involves utilizing the body's innate technology of breath, sound, movement, and touch. Mm-hmm. So for me, the pure way is utilizing either the body, breath, sound, movement, and touch, and enhancing potentially with some of these plant medicines, right?
Absolutely.
It's I don't know. I'm a purist in the sense that I'm here for humanity, right? I understand that technology is here and we are living and breathing in a time in which it behooves us to understand how we can work with it to enhance what our natural capacities are mentally, creatively, all the things. But, you know, when it starts to replace things, or I think how you presenced, like it creates more dissonance or confusion or noise, that's when it starts to become problematic, right? Because then it's like confusing to folks who, if we go back to this piece about being porous, we are extremely porous. In another term, impressionable. Yeah. There are these impressions that technology is making upon our minds and our hearts and our bodies and our souls that I don't think humans are that aware of when we talk about what we're taking in and on, what we're taking in, I'm pointing to my eyes, what we're taking out, our ears, our nose, our mouth, all the orifices, right? And people are taking in a lot in their eyes and their ears right now that is not pure.
Yeah.
And it worries me.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel the same. If everyone could just toss their phones, grab some mushrooms or no mushrooms, bring your breath, bring your body, bring yourself, and all of the cleanest food, all of the cleanest water, just go be with yourself in nature.
Yeah.
And then you decide how to move forward with that.
Lana, how can folks find you, work with you? Curious to learn more. You have so much wisdom to share and embodied gnosis. How can we find you and learn more?
Yeah. lanashay.com. Can find me there.
Beautiful.
Real easy. Googleable.
Yeah. And what offerings are you really focused on right now?
I am just in creative mode. Just recently had a gathering at a strip club, a friend's independently owned strip club in New York City. And that was co-produced with a friend called The Breath of Rose. It was a place for people to come and slow down and experience the pure way, to really drop in and connect with each other. So there's events like this. There's also one-on-one. There's a lot of unique ways that I work with people and support people. So I'll let people explore.
Yeah.
Explore and ask.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm so grateful.